I'm just uninstalling it, guys. The installation is done, guys. Let me show you the installation now. This is my installer. I need to select VMware vSphere Web Client, click on install. Pretty simple installation. We do next. Next, accept the EULA. These are the port numbers used by your web client: HTTP port 9090 and HTTPS port 9443. This port is important, guys, because we are going to use this port when you get connected to your vCenter server. Now, this is the place where it asks you to enter the SSO credentials. SSO username by default is admin at system-domain, where S is in uppercase as well as D is in uppercase, and the SSO administrative password, whatever you have configured during the installation of SSO. In my case, the password is uppercase S OOM-123. Click on install. It will complete the installation in a moment.
Ji, hello.
Yep.
When is the last class?
Most probably it would be 11th or 12th.
7th or 12th.
Yep.
And today, can you spend some time after the class for the lab?
Sure.
Yeah. I have
Okay,
few
now.
things to discuss.
Yes. So here the web client installation is done. Now web client runs as a service on this machine. Okay. Now we can open a browser and then get connected to our vCenter server using a browser. I'm connected to my vCenter server using vSphere client this way, but we can also get connected to a vCenter server using a browser. Okay. So let me open a browser here. Better to use Google Chrome because it has inbuilt Flash. If you are using other browsers like Internet Explorer or Mozilla Firefox, you need to install that Flash. So Okay, now I can enter the URL HTTPS, the IP address of my vCenter server, which is 10.0.1.205, followed by colon followed by the port number of web client, which is 9443. Just hit enter. Proceed anyway. Can take a little bit time so that the services are started in the background. Now you need to enter the credentials of your vCenter server here. Now this is how your web client appears, fine, using a browser. However, the inventory, how it appears is different from the inventory, how it appears through vSphere client. Okay, and now I need to click on vCenter server. Here you find host and clusters, virtual machines and templates, so on and so forth. So in order to do enhance vMotion, you need to select the virtual machine which you want to migrate. and you find all these virtual machines available here. Let us select a virtual machine. Right. Now, let me power it on. Let me solve this problem once.
I see one computer.
Majid?
Yep, guys.
Satya, man.
Yep.
Share documents, man. Interview questions and stuff. The other stuff.
I'll do that.
name and passport. Right? Data. Form. All of them. What is the password? Okay. And you select okay, what is the application? Follow error number what are the password? Either actually say about password what a domain then? Okay. No. What is the a computer. Why no mind?
Just give me a moment, guys.
Why we need no mind? Windows XP, 5-star number. Windows Vista, 5-star number. Windows 2003, 5-star number. Windows Server 2004, 5-star number. A computer joined in the domain. What is this? A computer joined in the domain. Plan to learn
Can you start? Want me to go? Okay. Other students has to. Okay.
Finish and we can comment.
Is it? The room is empty. Anyone in the room? I'll shift there and. Okay. Okay, you require that, right? Okay. Oh, fine.
Running here and there is a problem.
Okay, is it? Maybe some other room I'll take. Not that room. Any other room I'll take. Fine. Is it? Okay, fine. Okay, guys. Fine. Just give me a moment. I'm going to solve.
Any one of these adverse operating systems root for a computer is one active directory.
Okay. Someone has removed the uplink. I don't know, one of the students has removed the uplink. That's the reason why we were unable to connect to that server 1.30. Now it is up.
One question. So
Yes.
what topics we covered on Saturday? Actually, I missed that class.
Saturday.
Kind of.
Yes, Saturday. Yes.
Lab.
We have seen only the practical on Saturday, HA, DRS, and FT.
HA, DRS, and FT. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Now, here is my web client. Now, let us select any of the virtual machine. Let us say this virtual machine. Okay. And let us power on. Now, this machine is powered on. Yep.
Is web client free tool as well?
Yeah, it is a free tool. It is a free tool. Yes, yes. You will not pay anything for it. Okay, now you have this.
Right? Okay.
Yes, you have this virtual machine right now. It is powered on. When you right click this virtual machine, you get the option of migrate. Okay. Once you click on migrate, now here, guys, if you select this option, change both host and data store. This is enhanced vMotion. Now the same thing is not possible through vSphere client. Now this virtual machine is running here. The same virtual machine. When I right click on migrate. See, guys, I don't find this option changing both host and data store while the virtual machine is running. That's the reason why enhanced vMotion possible only through web client. Okay, and enhanced vMotion, you can migrate a running virtual machine from one host to another host and that virtual machine need not be on shared storage. Well, whereas in vMotion, the prerequisite is that your virtual machine should be on shared storage. Whereas with enhanced vMotion, that is not required. You can migrate a running virtual machine from one host to another host if that virtual machine is stored on the local storage as well. So let me click on next. Here, technically speaking, what is happening in enhanced vMotion is that you'll be able to actually it is doing vMotion and storage vMotion simultaneously. So that is what enhanced vMotion is. Okay. So here, if you see this error, guys, for vMotion there are prerequisites. In that, one of the prerequisites is that your virtual machine should not be accessing any of the local data store, local devices. Okay. Right now, it is accessing a local device, fine, which is the ISO image, which is mounted to this machine. So let me go and uncheck that. You can do it from here. See CD and DV drive, it is mounted. So I'm just removing it off. Now I should be able to do that. Let me go backwards. Okay, let me start it again. Migrate. Select both host and data store. Next. Now it shows validation succeeded. Next. Now it is on 1.30. Let me select 1.20. Compatibility succeeded. Click on next. Now here I need to select the data store. Fine. So let me select one. Click on next. Next. And finish. So if you see this here in recent tasks, this machine is getting migrated from one host to another host as well as from one data store to another data store.
One quick question, man.
Yes.
Is it possible that I can keep a virtual machine in data store?
Yeah, we store our virtual machines on data stores, right?
Like we keep like ESX host in data center, right? Like we can also keep virtual machine too in data store.
See, what is a data store? First, I don't understand what is a data store.
It's a
Now, data
container.
store it's a container-like thing where you can store data. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So that is what it is. I store virtual machines here. If you see this, where is my virtual machine VC Zoom right now? You go and see and observe it. So it is on VMFS shared 3. Everyone see that? Okay.
Now,
So
for
it is
example,
yeah. See guys, these are all virtual machines. You see this? All these folders are nothing but virtual machines. Yep. What is the question?
yeah, for example, I have ESX1 host. I have 10 virtual machines.
Yes.
So I kept like ESX one host in data store 1, and in from that one, I want to keep ESX host one virtual machine in data store 2.
Yeah, you can do that.
I can do that?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yes, possible. Guys, data store is nothing but a container, generic term basically, where you can store data. Fine. Now that data store can be a local data store. When I say local data store, that means that hard disk is local to ESXi. When I say shared data store, that means it is on LUN, on a SAN LUN, or it may be an NFS data store. It is shared. Fine.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Yes. So this is how we use web client, guys. This is how we migrate, running virtual machine from one host to another host, even if that virtual machine is stored locally. So this is enhanced vMotion. All right. So this is about web client and how we manage our vSphere infrastructure using web client. So this inventory is quite different from the vSphere inventory. Okay. You see It's similar, but only the view is changing. Okay, the inventory is different from vSphere client. Now the next topic we are going to take up is Update Manager. Fine. Now what is Update Manager, guys? Update Manager is an additional component of vCenter server. Using Update Manager, I can do centralized patching of my ESXi host. Fine. I can patch my ESXi host. Not only that, I can also use Update Manager to upgrade my ESXi host 4.x to 5.x, as well as I can upgrade virtual appliances using Update Manager, as well as I can upgrade VMware tools and virtual machine hardware using Update Manager. Basically, provide centralized patch management for your virtual for your ESXi host and virtual appliances. So Update Manager is an additional component of vCenter server. So this additional component has the server component and the client component. The server component of Update Manager is installed on the same machine where vCenter is running, or it can also be installed on a different machine. Okay, let us see that as well. Let us see Update Manager. I can install it on the same machine where vCenter is running, or on a separate machine. Update Manager requires a database. Why it requires a database is because it downloads all the patches associated with your virtual machines and virtual appliances, and it stores that in the database. Okay. So if you have an existing database, you can use it. If not, it is going to install the Express Edition on that machine. Update Manager is already installed here. So let me install Update Manager on our online VC Zoom if that machine is running.
Hello?
Yep.
Yes. Actually, they just come to this storage adapters, na?
Yep. Yes.
But this add and remove are not highlighted. Suppose if you want to delete this software adapter means, can't we delete?
If you remove this, first you need to unremove all these options. You have to remove this.
Okay,
Check all
okay.
these. Why? Because
Oh.
without removing this,
Okay,
if you
okay.
directly remove, it would be a problem, right? So,
Oh, okay.
fine. Again,
Actually, because
if
my
you
my
remove
client
that,
is
yep.
okay.
Yeah, if you one more thing, like if you remove it, it will ask for a reboot of the ESXi host as well. Fine.
Oh, okay.
Right. So why I rescanned this is because it was not showing the VMFS shade 3. This was not visible. That's the reason why I rescanned it, so that I can see the free space as well as the available space. It was showing 0 prior. That's the reason why I just rescanned it. So once I rescan, most probably that link would get updated properly and I'll get the right information. Okay. So let me show you this.
Only respective computer.
Okay, guys, give me 5 minutes. I'll be back. Okay, just give me 5 minutes, guys. I need to disconnect and again reconnect to my internet. Okay, just give me 5 minutes.
Okay, Mujib.
All right. So I was discussing the components of Update Manager. It has basically three components. The first one is Update Manager Server. Now this gets installed on the machine where vCenter is running. Update Manager requires a database which is called as patch database, which is used to store the patches which are downloaded. And the third component is Update Manager plugin or Update Manager client component. Now, Update Manager plugin. Yes.
Don't see a screen, मुझे.
Don't see the screen? Fine. The third component is Update Manager plugin. Now this plugin gets installed on the machine where vSphere client is running. So that means the plugin is getting installed on the local machine provided by your organization, whether it is laptop or desktop. Fine. Now to install Update Manager, hardware requirements: CPU with 2 cores, 2 GHz, and 2 or 4 GB RAM, 1 Gbps network. However, 4 GB RAM is required if you are running both the Update Manager server as well as the database on the same machine. If they are running on 2 different machines, then 2 GB RAM is quite sufficient. Now let us see the installation of Update Manager server component. Then I'll show you the installation of the client component. I told you the server component can be installed on the same machine where vCenter is running. So this is my vCenter machine. Now where do you find the Update Manager? It is also available on the installer of vCenter. This is the ISO image of vCenter which has been mounted to my CD or DVD drive. To double click it, it will launch the vCenter installer, and here you find VMware vSphere Update Manager. Now you need to select VMware vSphere Update Manager and click on install, and it will start the installation of vSphere Update Manager. Satya, can you be on mute, please? Thank you. All the installations are pretty simple, guys. Here you need to follow the instructions here. Accept the EULA. Now here, as Update Manager downloads all the patches from the internet, here is the setting: download updates from default sources immediately after the installation. If your machine has internet access, it goes and downloads the patches. Okay, I'm unchecking it. Why? Because my machine doesn't have internet access. Next, now here, Update Manager is an additional component of vCenter server. So Update Manager has to get integrated with vCenter server. Without vCenter server, you cannot use Update Manager. That's why, because Update Manager is an additional component, and once you install this, it will add additional features to your vCenter server. So here, that's the reason why it is asking you the vCenter information. The IP address is 10.0.1.205. It uses the port number HTTP80, the default port. You need to provide the credentials of your vCenter server. Now here, Update Manager requires a database. If you have an existing supported database, you can use it. If not, it is going to install the SQL Express 2008 R2 instance. Click on Next.
Suppose if we want to use the existing one, means what will be the configuration?
You need to select the existing supported database, and you need to mention the DSN name here. This will be provided by your database administrator. Just provide the DSN name, data source name, and you can continue. Fine. Now these are the port numbers used by your update manager. These are the default ports. Default location for installation. Now here it is giving me a message stating that my drive has less space than 120 GB. Guys, usually the database size depends on the inventory what you have, and that's the reason why VMware has a sizing estimator tool available on the VMware website. If you use this URL, you can download the sizing estimator. It is nothing but an Excel sheet, and there it has an option to enter your inventory. Inventory is nothing but the number of hosts and virtual machines in your infrastructure. So as you enter the number of hosts and virtual machines in your infrastructure, it is going to calculate and tell you what is the disk drive space required by the update manager. Okay, so it's just a message stating that it is less than 120 GB. However, my infrastructure is small, not an issue. It will not stop me from installation. It is just a message. So click on install. Now VMware vSphere Update Manager will get installed on this machine.
So is this a VMware vSphere 5.1? Is this a bundle?
Basically, like VMware vSphere, in the initial I explained you that VMware vSphere 5.1, basically it is not a single product basically. In order to create your infrastructure, you have multiple products put together forms your vSphere infrastructure. Okay? Basically, VMware vSphere is the server virtualization product. The ESXi which you are installing is VMware vSphere. And these are all supporting products which are used to manage your infrastructure. Now, this update manager and all is a part of vCenter server. Okay? These are used to manage your vSphere infrastructure.
Yeah.
If you see this installer,
So what file we need to download from VMware in order to get?
from the VMware website, you need to download VMware vSphere, vCenter server. This is vCenter server, guys. This vCenter server installer contains all these components. These components. Okay. If you install VMware vSphere, vCenter server, almost 70% of the components would be there on it, and the remaining components like, for example, VDP, you need to install it, you need to download it separately. VDP is a virtual appliance, and as the installation is done, click on Finish. Now, your VMware vSphere Update Manager would be running as a service on this machine. Now, the next thing what we have to install is the vSphere Update Manager plugin. Now, plugin is installed on the machine where vSphere client is running. Now, my vSphere client is running on this machine. You see this? Okay. And I'm connected to my vCenter server. Go to Home. Guys, if I go on home on my vSphere client, you find three sections here: inventory, administration, and management. Beneath that, you find nothing. Okay? Why? Because there are no plugins associated with Update Manager yet. So we need to download the plugin. So let me exit it out and reconnect to my vCenter server using vSphere client. Now we need to download and install Update Manager plugin. In order to do that, you find here File, Edit, View, Inventory, Administration, and Plugins. Click on Plugins, then click on Manage Plugins. You see this, you find VMware vSphere Update Manager under Available Plugins, and here you find the option Download and Install. You need to click on this. So what is happening right now is that Update Manager plugin is getting downloaded to this machine where my vSphere client is running, and once I click on Run, it will get installed here on this local machine. Which is that machine? That machine is this machine, guys. That Online 2 machine, okay, which I'm using right now.
What if I deployed vCenter as a OVA file onto the ESXi host directly?
That is vCenter Server Appliance. If you're using vCenter Server Appliance, then the plugins are already available on it.
Okay.
So suppose if you're using web client doesn't require plugins. If you're using vSphere client, then you require plugins. Okay.
Okay.
Here this is next. Accept the EULA. Next.
Yeah, Mujib, uninstallation is from the programs only, no? Control panel programs.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
However, guys, web client can be used only to monitor Update Manager. Patching is done only through vSphere client. I can do patching only through vSphere client. I cannot do it through web client. Keep that in mind. Okay, now the plugin is installed. Click on Finish. Got connected to the Update Manager. That's the reason why you got this security warning. Now, if you see this, now this plugin is installed and is not available under the available plugins. It is available in the installed plugins. And if you observe this, prior to reinstalling this plugin, you did not see the solutions and applications appearing, right? Now it got appeared. you can see this update manager available because I've installed the plugin. Now this plugin, that means the client component is connected to my server component. That's the reason why I'm able to see this update manager icon. Now, in order to manage update manager, you need to click on this icon. And this particular screen is called as update manager admin view. It's called as admin view of update manager. If you see this, there are 5 steps involved in the patching of an ESXi host. The first one, you can download the patches or upgrades. Second, we create and attach baselines to baseline groups. I'll explain what is a baseline and a baseline group in a moment. The third one, we scan. Okay. And the fourth one, we review the compliance. Then the fifth step is called as remediation or remediate host or virtual machines. Remediation is nothing but installing of the patch. Now the first one, we download the patches, fine, and these patches get stored onto your update manager database. The second one is creation of baselines and baseline groups. Now what is a baseline? Let me explain you. Right, baseline is nothing but segregation of patches based on certain criteria. All the patches are downloaded and stored in your database. And update manager downloads the patches associated with 3.5, 4, 4.1, 5, 5.1. Now, if patches, know that we don't have 5 on 4.1. So, we need to segregate the patches based on certain criteria. That criteria can be version-wise, the criteria can be critical, non-critical patches, the criteria can be based on severity, the criteria can be based on type of patch, whether it is a bug fix, this kind of stuff. So, segregation of patch based on certain criteria. And suppose baseline, we apply those patches on the host. We don't apply those patches on virtual machines or virtual appliances. Now we can create baseline groups. It can be host groups or virtual appliances groups. Okay. Now here you find these tabs, baselines and baseline groups. Here you find the baselines per host. There are 2 predefined or pre-configured baselines, the critical host patches and non-critical host patches. Critical and non-critical. How to create a baseline group. Baseline groups can be host groups or virtual appliances group. The same way you find the other tab, which is virtual machines and virtual appliances. Here also there are pre-configured baselines. See guys, VMware tools baseline, virtual machine hardware baseline, and virtual appliances upgrade to latest. Based on certain criteria. Now then, the most important tab here is the configuration tab. Now, this is the configuration of your update manager. We have installed update manager on this machine 10.0.1.205. Okay, and here the download settings by default. If you have internet access, then these are the sites where update manager goes and downloads the patches. Okay, these are the default sites. Fine. And this tab patches manually from a zip file, or there can be some other scenario where you can use 2 update managers. One update manager has internet access; it goes online and downloads the patches, and the second update manager can download the patches from the local update manager number 1. So, if you are going with 2 update manager settings, then the first update manager will be having the download settings directly connected to an internet, and the second update manager, you have to use the second setting here, and you need to provide the IP address or the host name of the first update manager. Now, why we are using 2 update managers? Suppose security is important, and we want our update manager to be inside the firewall. All right, and if that's the case, then we can use 2 update managers. One update manager outside the firewall of your infrastructure, which has internet access, and the other update manager would be within your infrastructure, within the firewall, and it downloads the patches from the local update manager. Okay. Then comes the download schedule. By default, the download schedule is to download the patches daily. If you don't want that, you can change the schedule from daily to weekly maybe. Okay. And if you want to even download the patches on Saturdays and Sundays, you can check this box. Next, now here you can provide an email address so that whenever a patch is downloaded, you receive an email. Maybe we can provide VMware administrators group mail address so that vCenter can send an email to us. Okay. So here I can mention the email addresses, and this is how we can configure the download schedule. This is the notification. VMware receives or releases notifications from time to time. I can also check the notifications. The default setting is to check the notifications hourly. If you don't want that, again you can change the notification from hourly to daily. And again, you can give an email address here, your administrator's group email address, so that vCenter server can send an email whenever a notification has been released. So this is how we configure the notification. The virtual machine settings. Guys, this is Update Manager 5.1. Update Manager till 4.1 was also used to patch the operating systems inside your virtual machines. What is the meaning is that we used to use Update Manager to patch the Windows and the Linux operating systems running inside the virtual machines till 4.1. From 5 onwards, VMware removed it. Why? Basically, in Windows infrastructures, we use our native tools like SCCM or WSUS to patch our Windows infrastructure, Windows machines. In Linux, we use yum repositories. So normally, industry was not widely using Update Manager to patch the operating systems. So that's the reason why, one of the reasons why they removed that particular option. However, prior to applying a patch, you can take a snapshot. So if you check this box, and if you are applying a patch on your virtual machine using Update Manager, then a snapshot will be taken automatically. And you can also set this to delete the snapshot automatically. So if I say that keep this for 18 hours, then the snapshot would be available till 18 hours, and after 18 hours it gets deleted automatically. So these are the settings for the virtual machines. However, we are not using these settings right now. Now this is the host settings, host and cluster settings. Now,
So what is meant by remediation?
Remediation is nothing but the installation of patch. Remediation is nothing but the installation of a patch. It's called as remediation. Fine. Now, once I apply a patch or install a patch on a host, certain patches will require my host to enter into the maintenance mode. Now, guys, maintenance mode is used to apply patches, and sometimes you also use maintenance mode of an ESXi host. For example, you are making some networking changes on the host, then you can enter the host into the maintenance mode. Now, once you enter the host into the maintenance mode, your virtual machines cannot run on it. So, prior to entering the maintenance mode, you may need to make sure that the virtual machines which are running on it are migrated to some other host, or you can power off the virtual machines or suspend the virtual machines. So, Update Manager can place the host into the maintenance mode automatically, and it tries to enter the host into the maintenance mode. By any reason, if the host is unable to enter into the maintenance mode, it is going to retry that after 5 minutes, and it is going to retry for 3 times. If you change these settings, accordingly it will try to enter the host into the maintenance mode. And if your host is a part of a cluster, maybe HA and DRS cluster, there might be certain features of cluster which will not allow the host to enter into the maintenance mode. At that particular time, these settings can be temporarily disabled by Update Manager so that the host can enter into the maintenance mode, and you can continue with the remediation process. And after that, Update Manager will disable this feature automatically. So these are the cluster settings and host settings. I'm leaving it by default because once you are applying a patch, these settings will appear again. Accordingly, we can make the necessary changes and continue with our installation of our patch. Then comes the VApp settings. Now, these were also used prior Okay. Now also, if suppose you are using a virtual appliance, then this can be used. Now we know that what is a VApp? It's nothing but a container where we can group certain interdependent virtual machines and we can manage them as one component. I given you an example of 3-tier applications and 2-tier applications. Suppose if I'm applying the patch only on database server, then only the database server virtual machine will get rebooted, and it may affect my online application or that particular application which is dependent on database. If you enable this smart reboot option, then both the virtual machines which are a part of that particular virtual appliance or a VApp will get rebooted. So these are the settings available on your update manager, but the most important setting is the download setting, all right, and the download schedule and notification schedule. Fine. So here you find events tab. You can find all the events here. If there are any notifications released, you can see the notifications. Patch repository. If the patches are downloaded, you can see all those patches here with the name, product, release date, type, severity, category, impact, so on and so forth. I'll show you once I upload the patches. You can see all the patches here. ESXi images. We know that Update Manager can also be used to upgrade the ESXi codes 4.x to 5.x. If you want to use Update Manager for upgradation, then you need to have images, ESXi images. You can import an ESXi image from here and you can have images here. The same way, Update Manager can also be used to upgrade virtual appliances. If there are any virtual appliances upgrades, you can do that from here. So these are the tabs associated with it. But let me show you how to upload a patch manually. In order to do that, you need to go to the configuration tab, go to download settings. Now here you find the option which says import patches manually from a local zip file. Now you need to download the patch from the VMware website and have it on the local machine from where you're using your vSphere client and getting connected to your vCenter server. You click on import patches. It will give me an option to browse my local machine. To browse it, if you have that patch available, then you can select that patch and upload it. However, I have that patch available on my data store, VMFS Shade 3, and let me download it onto the local machine. This is online 2 machine. Browse the data store. In here in the ISO images. This is the file, which is the patch, which is 5.1 update 1 release. After 5.1 was released, guys, update 1 was released. So I'm using this update 1 as an example to show you how to apply this patch. I'm downloading it onto the local desktop. Guys, while you're practicing your patching, you can use this file. You can download it onto your machines and then again upload to the update manager. Fine. Now this file gets downloaded to this machine here. You can see the zip file. And from here, I can upload it to my update manager. And these patches will get uploaded to the update manager database. Once this gets uploaded, you can see all the patches available in this particular zip file. Yep. Yes. In your organization, you have any of the what do you say mail servers in your organization. Okay, all you need to mention is the IP address. Sorry, the email address of your group or your individual email accounts of your administrators. Okay. No. You need to configure that. Okay. However, there is one setting which has to be done on vCenter so that vCenter can send the email addresses. I'll show you how to configure that. Okay. So now I have the patch available. So let me go to my update manager admin view. And in the download settings, I find the option import patches manually. Click on it. Now browse. On the desktop, I have this file. Select that file. Open. Now click on next. Ignore, it's a security warning. Now it is uploading this from the local machine to the update manager database. It's approximately 581 MB file. The update manager is importing that file.
Mujib, one question.
Yes.
I'm seeing one error on ESXi host, that is the number of vSphere HA heartbeat data store for this host is 0, which is less than required 2.
Yeah, minimum 2 data stores are required for heartbeat guys. HA depends on 2 things. One is the heartbeat network, the other one is data store heartbeat. So it requires minimum 2 data stores so that it can check the heartbeats from the data stores. So that's the reason why it is giving you an error. So you need to have another data store, guys, attached to your ESXi host. Minimum 2 data stores. So these are the patch.
But it's saying number of currently data store for this host is 0. But I have one data store by default.
That is the local one. That is the local one.
Okay, so this 0. Okay, heartbeat data stores is not local. Okay, shared.
Shared one.
Okay.
It's a total 3.
Yeah, local is not considered as will not be considered by your HA as a data store.
Okay, even we cannot perform vMotion with the local, right?
Yeah. Yes. So here you find the patches available. Okay, these are the patches available in that particular zip file. Once I click on finish, so confirming the import of patches, offline patches. Okay, these are not online because I have uploaded it manually. So once the confirmation of import is done, once I go to patch repository, you can see all the patches available there. Right. Now let me go to see how many patches were available in it. 15. So let me go to patch repository. You can see this patches, right? So the name of the patch, for which product it has been released, it was for 5.1. The release date, type, it is update. Certain patches are roll up, update, patch. Severity, important, moderate, critical. Okay. Category, bug fix and security. And what would be the impact of this patch on this host? If I apply this patch, if you see this it will require a reboot. Now this will require the host to be in maintenance mode as well as reboot. If you select this path doesn't require any reboot or to be in maintenance mode. So this is how we can know about this patch. This is the patch ID. Okay, if I double click on any patch, it will give me an URL where I can go there and I can read about that particular patch, why this patch was released, why it is used for, what type of impact does it make, if I install this patch, so on and so forth. So these are the patches. Now here the important patch which I am going to apply on my host would be this rollup. Okay. Now this is complete update 1. So ESXi 5.1. After that update 1 was released, I am going to use this patch and apply it on my host. Fine. Now let me go to baselines. What is the baseline? I told you segregation of patch based on certain criteria. Now prior when I went to this baseline, there were no patches here. It was showing content 0 and 0. Why? Because there were no patches. Now see guys how it has segregated the patches automatically based on the criteria. Here critical patches. If you see here in patch repository, we find 2 critical patches, right? Severity and the remaining are non-critical. If you go into the baseline, it has segregated those 2 patches in the critical and non-critical as 13. Okay, so that is what is the baseline. I can also create a baseline if I want to, and I can have my own criteria. Let me say create. I can say that this is host baseline. Okay, and I can give a name. Fine. Maybe I'll say it's a security patch, or I'll say that this is 5.1 update 1. Okay, so it is a host patch. It can also be a virtual appliance patch baseline. Now here you have 2 options. One is fixed baseline, the other one is dynamic baseline. The difference between these 2 is that dynamic baseline is dynamic. Whenever a new patch is downloaded and if it fits this criteria, then automatically Update Manager is going to segregate it. If you make it a fixed baseline, then whatever the patches I select to be a part of this baseline, only that would be a part of it. It will not dynamically include any patches which meets this criteria. Okay, I'm making it as a fixed baseline because update 1 is released only once. So I'm making it as a fixed baseline. Next, here I'll select the patch which would be a part of this particular baseline. Here is that patch which is complete update 1 rollup. Only this patch is included in this baseline. See the patches, VMware 5.1 complete update 1. Click on finish. Now here I have created my own baseline based on my criteria, and it is a fixed baseline. This baseline is not going to change, but because it is fixed, what are the patches I have included, only that patch should be there. Now what is a baseline group? Baseline group can be host groups or the virtual machine groups. It is a host group, so I'll name it as host, and I'll say this is as production, baseline group. Next, here any upgrades you want to attach to this baseline group, it's going to ask me. Any patches you want to attach, I don't want to attach, let me show you how to attach it later. Then any extensions, then ready to complete. I'm just creating a baseline group, the name post production. Now if you want to attach a baseline to a baseline group, you need to select a baseline in this way, and if you click on the right arrow key, then it gets attached to this baseline group. Now if you want to detach it, just check this and move to the left hand side, it gets detached. So this is how we create baseline and baseline groups. Okay. Now the next job is to apply a patch on an ESXi host. Applying the patch on the ESXi host is not done on this view. This particular thing what I are seeing is called as admin view of Update Manager. You need to go to the compliance view. This is the compliance view, guys. If you click on compliance view, you will be landing to a location. What is compliance view is nothing but on every object on vCenter server inventory, you find this tab called Update Manager. Now this is what is called as compliance view. On the cluster, you find this Update Manager. On the host also you find this Update Manager. Okay, so this is what is compliance view. So let me do one thing. Let me add a virtual ESXi host, which is this. Let me check the IP address of it. So because 1.20 and 1.30 is updated with update 1. Okay. Anyone has the server running? Usman, can I use your machine? What is the IP of it? What is the IP of this?
Hold on, let me check. I don't remember.
10.0.1.212. Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Let me add this to my cluster. I'm not 212. Okay. What is the username and what is the password, Usman? The same?
Same.
Pardon? The same. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same. I'm using the machine. Should I just log off?
You're already here?
Yeah, I'm in this. I'm on your vCenter. Should I just log off?
Which is the vCenter?
The one I'm logged in. I'm using the VC Mujib one.
VC one. Let me
And
select.
also, I actually logged on to both VC Mujib and the one which you're using at the moment, which is vczoom.com.
Okay, let me do it here. Okay, let me select this 10.0.15.60, which is another virtual ESXi. Okay, it is a part of this cluster, Sharad cluster. Let me show you here, guys. On every object I told you, you find this update manager. The tab. This is called as the compliance view of update manager. Fine. So let me apply patch on this machine 10.15.60. Update manager. Now here I need to attach a baseline to a baseline group. So right click on attach. But here I need to select the baseline and the baseline group. Click on attach. Okay. Now once the attach is done, the next thing what I need to do is I need to scan. It's already showing compliant. Let me select another host. Okay, it is non-compliant. Fine. Now if you see this, I need to scan so that I need to find out. What scanning does is that it checks the patches available in the baseline and it will check the patches available on the host. And if the host already has that particular patches, then it will say that it is a compliant host. If those patches are not available on the host, then it will say that it is a non-compliant host. Once the host is non-compliant, that means we need to install the patch on the host. So let me scan it here. Now I'm scanning this host 10.20.30.40. Okay, it is also compliant, guys. Let me add your machine in 0.1. Is the password the same?
Talking to me?
Yeah, Usman.
Yes, Sum1234.
It's lowercase or uppercase?
S is cap.
Usman, you can re-add it. You can re-add it. You can create a cluster and again add it. Not an issue. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now this is my host on which I want to apply a patch. I need to go to the update manager on that particular tab. I click attach, select the baseline with the baseline group. Okay, now let me scan it. See guys, it has showed me non-compliant. That means this patch is not available on the host. That means non-compliant. This is the fourth step, which is called as reviewing compliance. Now what is the fifth step I have to do? I have to install the patch on the host, which is called as remediation. If you see beneath this, you find two options. One is stage, the other one is remediation. Now remediation will start the installation of patch on this host directly. Prior to that, you can also stage it. Now, what is called as stage? Now, right now, this patch update 1 is on my update manager database. If I click on stage, then the patch from the update manager database will get downloaded to the temp folder of this host 10.0.1.211. There is a temporary folder available, temporary directory, which is called a /temp directory. Now, once you click on stage, the patches will get downloaded to the temp folder of this ESXi host. Then you can click on remediate. So what is the advantage of staging is that the installation process will become faster. So let me click on stage. So this is the patch, and it will be staged on 10.0.1.212. So this is the patch. Next, finish. So if you see this in the recent task, stage patches to entity. Now the patch is getting downloaded from the update manager database to the temp folder of the ESXi host. Once the staging is done, then you click on remediate. Remediation is nothing but installation of patch on the host. Now the staging is done. If you see this, the staging is completed. Now you can click on remediate. Now just observe this host is a part of cluster now, and this patch will require the host to enter into the maintenance mode. Update manager will try to enter this host into the maintenance mode, but because it is a part of a cluster, I told you there might be certain settings of cluster which will stop the host from entering a maintenance mode. Most probably will receive an error message. We'll try to read that message and try to resolve the issue. Okay. Next. Next. Now here it is going to ask me the schedule. You want to install the patch right now, or you want to schedule it later? I want to install it immediately. Next. Now these are the settings, maintenance settings, mode settings. We'll leave it by default. Next. These are the cluster settings, guys. There might be certain settings which will stop you from entering the host into the maintenance mode. I'm not doing anything. Let us see the error. Try to understand the error. Then we'll try to resolve the issue. Next. Click on finish. Now here, the remediation process started, but it gave me an error. We try to read this error. See guys, this operation is not supported on the selected inventory object. Check the events for the object selected for the operation. So now I can go to the task and events. Go to events. And here, it is giving me a message stating that cannot remediate host 10.1.212.211 because it is a part of HA admission control enabled cluster. Now this admission control policy of HA cluster is stopping the host to enter from the maintenance mode. So now I need to resolve it. How? You can click on remediate. Click on next, 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 next. Now here, what is stopping me? Admission control. So I'll temporarily disable it by checking this option. Click on next, click on finish. Now most probably I don't get any errors and the remediation process is started. You see this? Now the update manager will try to enter this host into the maintenance mode. Right now it is in progress. Slowly the icon is going to change. The host enters into the maintenance mode. Here one more important point guys, if there are any running virtual machines available on this host, then HA cluster as well as this cluster is also a DRS cluster, will migrate virtual machines automatically to some other host. Now you see this icon has changed. If you see the description now, the host is in maintenance mode. Okay. Once the host enters into the maintenance mode, then the installation of patch has started automatically. You can see this install. The installation is going on. And after that, the host will get rebooted automatically. After a reboot, it will exit from the maintenance mode automatically. And after that, you'll see the screen changing from red to green. So once it's green, that means the installation has been done. Now it is compliant. You see this? it has initiated the host reboot. It is going for a reboot now. In a moment, you can see that it will show you as disconnected because it is rebooting. Because it is showing not responding because getting rebooted. Guys, suppose host is a part of DRS cluster. If there are any running virtual machines, then automatically those running virtual machines will get migrated to some other host. If that host is not a part of DRS cluster and if you are trying to apply a patch on it, then the virtual machines will not get migrated automatically. Then manual intervention may be required. That means you need to manually migrate the virtual machines from one host to another host. Okay, and then only the host can enter into the maintenance mode. If not, no. If the host has to enter into the maintenance mode, then no virtual machine should be running on it. So there are only three options available: either migrate the running virtual machines, power off the virtual machines, or suspend the virtual machines. See guys, now reboot is done. Now the host is still under the maintenance mode. Will exit from the maintenance mode in a moment, and then you can see this as compliant host. You see this in the recent task, it is exiting it out from the maintenance mode. Automatically, that policy which we have disabled, the HA admission control policy, will be enabled automatically by the update manager, and now that host will become a part of the HA cluster. See guys, now it has automatically changed from red to green. Now it is compliant. That means this patch which I have attached, which is update 1, is installed on this host, and it is a compliant host now. So this is how we use our update manager patch. Clear? Clear guys? Yeah. So this is how we use update manager to apply patches on our host. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now here, yes. Now here I have just applied a patch. Okay. Now, during the patching, most probably 100% you don't come across any problems. However, upgrades, when you upgrade from one version to another version, for example, you are upgrading from 4.x to 5.x, let us say, then if the upgrade did not go properly, then ESXi host can revert from that particular position automatically. I'll explain that when I'm discussing ESXi architecture. ESXi has that mechanism to overcome from a serious issue during upgradation automatically. So I'll explain how it happens during the topic of architecture, ESXi architecture, not to worry, okay? Fine. Yes. Uh-huh. Yes, that could also be a possibility, or maybe you can do the installation from a remote location. For example, you have remote management cards available on the server. For example, like ILO, integrated lights out. Today there was some issue with my server, and I got connected to my server using ILO. So if you have ILO, you need not be present in the data center. You can be in a remote location and you can get connected to your server and do the installation, or see the installation, or observe the installation, or inspect the installation. So yes, absolutely. Yes, yes, already configured. You know that IP address, the username and the password. You get connected, and you can monitor the installation. Fine. Normally, guys, there are two types of jobs available on VMware vSphere infrastructure. One, implementation jobs. Implementation jobs are quite less, because implementation is done only once. The most of the jobs, almost 95% of the jobs, you find on support. Okay. Now, if you get a job in the support, then most probably you don't do the installation, because there is already installed. You have already infrastructure available. All you do is manage it. So support, 95% of the jobs should be available on the support. However, if you get an opportunity to work in an organization where the data center is available at your location, then you are responsible for each and everything. Maybe maintaining that infrastructure. Something goes wrong, you have to go and find out what is the problem, so on and so forth. So it depends on what type of infrastructure you get an opportunity. However, here in India, 95% of the jobs should be based on support. Only 5% you get an opportunity to work in a data center, and that too with implementation. Okay. Usman, I'm removing your host from here so that you can use it in your data center.
I have a question.
Yes.
So it's from my infrastructure.
Okay.
So we have a 2 amps. They are currently on vCenter 5.1, and we moved our regular ESXi host onto 5.5 already.
Okay.
So we kept the amp host on 5.1 because we are adding new amp servers.
Okay.
That's why we want to migrate these amp hosts from 5.1 vCenter onto the 5.5 before adding the new hardware. So on amp host we have already all SSO servers, vCenter, inventory service, database service servers. So
Okay.
we have all these inventory on the amp host.
Okay.
On the two distributed across the 2 amp hosts, and
Okay.
amp hosts have standard switch. Each one has one standard switch.
Yes.
So what is the best scenario? Can I directly remove the amp host from vCenter and connect onto the 5.5 vCenter without any downtime? And what are the do you see any downtime here? Disconnecting host from vCenter 5.1 and add host onto 5.5 with all these inventories still active.
See, here you need to understand that maybe for 5.1 you're using a different database, and for 5.5 you might be using a different database. Is that the case?
Yes. Yes.
If the database is different, then you are going to lose the configurations. Okay, that's the only issue. But in the background, the virtual machines may be running. It doesn't affect my virtual machine.
Okay. So the database, right? I'm only left on old. So just disconnecting and adding. Okay. So it.
All you lose is the configuration information. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Fine. That's it. Remaining part would be the same. Not an issue. If the virtual machines are running on it, then do one thing. Just add a host to your new vCenter and migrate those virtual machines onto some other host. Then you can upload.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
That's the only issue. If not, for the virtual machines, there wouldn't be any downtime because your virtual machines can run on some other host. You can migrate it, and then you can continue. During the migration, again, you need to keep in mind that the 5 prerequisites. So you said that you have only one standard switch. So what are the port group those virtual machines are connected? You need to make sure that that same port group is available on the other host. Okay?
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. But so I can still power on everything.
Yes, not an issue. Just make sure that your virtual machines get migrated.
Okay. Yeah.
If you don't migrate the virtual machines, then the virtual machines will have downtime.
I don't need to migrate virtual machine. Okay, before upgrading to.
Before upgrading.
Okay.
That's all. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So this was our today's session, guys. Okay. Tomorrow we'll continue with access control. And probably I'll start the DPVs here. Fine, guys. You can continue with your lab. The servers are on, and you can continue with your labs. Fine.
Can you actually check my yesterday in the last 1 hour you said you're gonna assign the LAN to my machines and stuff. So
Yes, I have configured it. Is it Rupesh or Prabhakar?
This is Usman.
Usman.
Yeah, Mujib, actually, hello?
Yes, tell me.
Yeah, the 10.5.5.3 is not available, huh, right now?
No, 10.5.5.3 is not available. 10.0.1.222 is available.
Oh, so actually, already I configured on 10.5. Delete that link from my host.
Yes, from the host you can delete it off and create a new one on 10.0.1.222.
Oh, no need to delay. No need of deleting on the SAN.
No, on the SAN, let it be, not an issue. Why? Because that machine is being used, not an issue. 1.222, and this has drive F, which has almost 200 GB free space available. So you can create 2 LUNs of 10 GB each or 8 GB each, and connect it to your virtual machine. This is not going to be changed. Fine. You're asking something?
Assigning the LANs, I mean the procedures and stuff.
LANs. Okay. Now get connected to 1.222. Fine. How? I'll show you.
Okay.
In this way. MSDSC.
Yeah, remote to it and then.
Yeah. 10.0.1.222.
One person only can be connected, no?
Then, yeah, at a time one person will be connected.
Yeah.
So one after the other you can create it. Okay, if it is busy, wait for some time and then wait. Okay. Now then, all you need to do is go to Server Manager on the machine, and then go to File and Storage Services, and then you find iSCSI. Once you find iSCSI, on the right hand side you find multiple virtual hard disks. On in the empty area here just right click and just say new iSCSI virtual disk. Give your name, okay, then give the size, the virtual hard disk size, maybe 8 GB or 10 GB. Then it will ask you whether you want to use an existing iSCSI target or a new target. Select the new target, which would be beneath the existing target, and give a target name. Give your name. Better to give name like online-your name 1, online-your name, in that way. Just give the same name to your virtual disk as well as to your new iSCSI target. Then it will ask you to add the initiators. So when you click on add there, you need to add the IP address of your ESXi servers. For example, Usman's IP addresses are 10.0.1.211 and 222. So in that way, you add those IP addresses. Fine. And click on next, and finish. Your target would be ready. Then you need to come to your ESXi host. Go to storage adapters. Add the software iSCSI adapter. Then go to the properties of it. Then go to dynamic discovery. Add the iSCSI server's IP address there. That is 10.0.1.222. Then click on OK. It will ask for a rescan. After the rescan, most probably you'll be able to see those LUNs available. Then go to storage. Then click on add storage. Once you click on add storage, you can select the LUN which is available, and then click on next. It will format that LUN with BMFS and name the data store as BMFS shared followed by your name 1, so that you identify that it is a shared data store. And now you can migrate your virtual machines to your data store and in practice HADRS, FT, vMotion, SVMotion, and enhanced vMotion. Okay.
Yeah, Mujib, actually it's not accessible. That
Okay, let me check out. Let me go and check out whether the machine is on or not. I'll on it in 5 minutes, and you will get. Okay, guys, catch you tomorrow. Fine, I'm on that.